Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel, Comments and Answers TJ. I hope you are all doing well. In this video, we are going to prepare for the book study, Complete Testimony, for the week of September 9th to 15th. This week, we will be studying Chapter 15, paragraphs 8 to 12, and the box section. So, let's get started. Question 8. How did Barnabas react to Paul's proposal? Barnabas agreed with Paul's proposal to return and visit the brothers. Both of them thought it was a sensible and practical idea since they had formed a good team in the past. However, Barnabas was determined to take John Mark, his cousin, which led to a disagreement between them. Additional comments. In Acts 13, 2-14-28, we see how Barnabas and Paul had already worked together in missionary work and knew the congregations well. Barnabas' desire to continue accompanying Paul shows his willingness to keep strengthening the brothers, which reflects the love and care they both felt for the congregations. In Acts 15:37, it is emphasized that Barnabas was determined to take Mark with them. This strong desire to give his cousin another chance demonstrates an important quality in Jehovah's servants, the willingness to be patient and merciful, giving others the opportunity to improve and grow. Question 9. Why did a disagreement arise between Paul and Barnabas? The disagreement arose because Paul did not want to take Mark. According to the account in Acts 15 verse 38, Paul did not trust him, as Mark had abandoned them in Pamphylia during the first missionary journey and had not accompanied them in the work. To Paul, this was an act of irresponsibility that caused him to lose trust in Mark. Additional comments. In Acts 13:13, we read that Mark abandoned Paul and Barnabas in Pamphylia. This incident left a negative impression on Paul, who valued responsibility and commitment in missionary work. Concerned about the importance of the work, Paul did not want to risk a similar situation happening again. In Acts 12:25, it is mentioned that Mark had accompanied Paul and Barnabas on their first journey. Although he was initially part of their team, the fact that he left early possibly made Paul feel disappointed, as he considered it essential to have companions who were reliable and committed to the ministry work. Question 10. What was the result of the disagreement between Paul and Barnabas? The disagreement between Paul and Barnabas was so strong that they decided to go their separate ways. Barnabas went to Cyprus with Mark, while Paul chose Silas and continued with his plan to visit the congregations in Syria and Cilicia. Additional comments. In Acts 15:39, we see that a sharp contention arose, showing that even faithful servants like Paul and Barnabas were imperfect and, at times, had serious disagreements. However, this did not lead them to completely break their Christian brotherhood. Both continued to serve Jehovah in different assignments. In Acts 15:40-41, Paul continues the work with Silas, demonstrating that despite their differences, the ministry work had to go on. This reminds us that although disagreements may arise within the congregation, it is important to remain focused on serving Jehovah and strengthening the congregations. Question 11. What qualities do we need to maintain good relationships when a brother offends us? To maintain good relationships when a brother offends us, we need qualities like humility, love, and the desire to imitate Jesus. Although Paul and Barnabas parted ways at that time, they later made peace and restored their friendship, showing their willingness to imitate Christ and resolve their differences with humility. It is also important to be tolerant and strive to maintain peace in our Christian relationships. Additional comments. In Ephesians 4:1-3, we are encouraged to walk, with complete humility and mildness, with patience, putting up with one another in love. This counsel encourages us to be patient and humble when facing differences or disagreements with our brothers, always striving to maintain peace and unity in the congregation. Later, in Colossians 4:10, Paul mentions Mark in a positive way. This indicates that although there was an initial disagreement, over time, they were able to reconcile and work together again. This example teaches us the importance of being willing to forgive and restore relationships, imitating the love and forgiveness of Christ. Question 12. What qualities of Paul and Barnabas should Christian elders imitate? Christian elders should imitate the humility, tenderness, and kindness that characterized both Paul and Barnabas. Barnabas was known as a son of comfort because of his caring and generous nature, and Paul also showed tenderness and affection for his brothers. Elders should treat both their fellow elders and congregation members with care and humility. Additional comments. Acts 4:36 mentions that Barnabas means son of comfort. This title reflects Barnabas' encouraging and compassionate character, qualities every elder should cultivate to be a source of encouragement and support within the congregation. Being a comfort to others is an essential characteristic of a good shepherd. In 1 Thessalonians 2:7-8, Paul talks about how he treated the brothers with tenderness, like a mother caring for her children. This analogy shows the importance of elders being loving and tender in their dealings with the congregation, genuinely concerned for the spiritual well-being of each of their brothers. Box comments. Mark enjoyed special responsibilities. It is believed that Mark was the young man who fled naked when Jesus was arrested. Since this incident is only mentioned in his Gospel, he was probably a witness to this event, which indicates that he was present during key moments in Jesus' life. Although he was young at the time, this experience must have deeply impacted his faith. Furthermore, Mark grew up in a Christian home, where his mother, Mary, offered her home for the disciples' meetings. Being surrounded by Christians from an early age likely influenced him through the teachings and example of the first disciples of Jesus, helping to strengthen his faith and prepare him for future assignments. Mark accompanied Paul and Barnabas on their first missionary journey, but he decided to return to Jerusalem before completing the mission. This action caused Paul to lose trust in him, as missionary work required commitment and dedication. Mark's decision to leave the mission could have been motivated by various reasons, though it is not specified. Later, Barnabas wanted to give him another chance and take him on another journey, which led to a disagreement with Paul. This disagreement caused Barnabas and Mark to separate from Paul and continue their service together. Despite this obstacle, Barnabas' willingness to support Mark shows that we all make mistakes but can also improve and be useful in God's service. Over time, Mark regained Paul's trust. Years later, they worked together again, demonstrating that Mark learned from his mistakes and matured spiritually. This also highlights the importance of reconciliation and forgiveness among brothers, as Paul, despite their previous disagreements, acknowledged Mark's value for the ministry. When Paul was in prison, he even requested Mark's help, considering him useful and valuable for the ministry. This shows how Mark became a loyal and trustworthy servant, proving that even if we make mistakes in the past, we can overcome them and be effective in the service if we strive to do so. Mark also worked closely with Peter, one of the most prominent apostles. Peter considered him a spiritual son, indicating a close, mentoring relationship. As an eyewitness of key events in Jesus' life, Peter would have had a significant influence on Mark's knowledge and faith. Mark's greatest honor was being used to write one of the 4 Gospels. Although much of the information he gathered likely came from Peter, his Gospel was primarily directed toward the Gentiles, demonstrating his desire to share Christ's message with people from different cultures. This Gospel contains important details that help us better understand the life and work of Jesus, and its composition reflects Mark's dedication to the expansion of Christianity. Well, these have been the practical answers for this week's congregation book study. I hope they are very helpful to you, my dear brothers and sisters. I send you a big hug, and may Jehovah always bless and protect you.